Loren Wehmeyer with Wehmeyer Commercial, and I had a call recently with a friend who's a property manager but is self-described as being old school and was interested in maybe learning a little bit more about some of the property management software but didn't know if it was the right thing for them at this moment. So I thought I'd make a quick video to give a few things that I like about using property management software, and I use property management software called Buildium. So I'll just give a little bit of a view of the things I like. So here I have a custom domain, and that custom domain goes right to this Buildium website. So this Buildium website is just a canned website that you can customize with things like your logo, and then it'll populate it with the listings that you have available. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in here. And when I sign in as a manager, one thing on a slow connection, it sometimes takes a while. Not usually it takes this long. Okay, so here it's going to send me to a dashboard, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a few different pages at you to show these different topics across the top here. So we'll start with the rentals. Here, this is where you're going to look at your different properties, and I'm not going to pull these up just because it has individual information from particular tenants, and I don't want to share that information there. But for listings, one of the things I like for listings here is it's really easy to make your listings available. So here I have 3 items listed, 2 storage units and an apartment. So if I just click on the apartment here, eventually it'll come up with the apartment listing. And the nice thing about this is the listing pulls from data for each unit. So you just have to update the unit one time, and then every time you're ready to list it, it'll be available. So here I uploaded the photos. It's really simple to upload the photos. You just click on the photo. Boom, you can upload the photos. You can put in the different information about it. And all of this information is going to get syndicated on other websites, so that's why it's really nice to have it all in one place here. So I entered in this information one time. It pulls the property information that I entered for the whole property. So for every unit, it'll pull down this information and these photos. And together, all of the property photos and all of the unit photos will be uploaded to these syndicated sites. So in this case, Buildium syndicates to apartments.com, Apartment List, Lovely, and Zillow, and all of the groups. There are sub-sites within all of these. And I found these are pretty good, but I've had more success and better success posting it on Facebook Marketplace and on local Facebook groups. But I have had some good success with these, and what I don't want, when I know I have an apartment that's going to be easy to rent and I don't want a gazillion emails and messages, I'll often use this and not use Facebook, just because Facebook is so good at what they do that sometimes it's just overwhelming. So that's the leasing tab. We'll skip over the associations. We'll talk a little bit about accounting. So for accounting, you can have all of your accounting done for you within the software, which is kind of nice, which gets you away from having to use QuickBooks or anything like that. So that's how I do it. So this is just one condo that we manage for an owner, and so it shows, all right, in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and as of this year, and it's going to break down where all your income is and where all your expenses are. So you can see, here we paid taxes, we bought a hot water heater, we paid our management fees. So that's kind of how it works. So it's going to give you quarter by quarter or month by month, however you want it, and finally your net income. So you're going to be able to see property by property or owner by owner how each person or each company or each property is doing, and that's really nice information that the owners like to see. Under the maintenance tab here, you can put in your vendors. One of the things I like about this vendor tab is it's really easy to keep track of who you need to give 1099s to. And also, say you sent a check to a vendor and the vendor says, I just didn't receive that check and you said, well, I know I sent it out. Let me double check. And if you click on the vendor here, it's going to pull up the vendor, and then I can click on financials. One of the downsides of having a software that's completely online is you're at the mercy of the internet speed. So it's, the evening right now, and we're in rural Vermont, so internet speeds aren't great. In any case, eventually we'll be able to see here for this particular client or this vendor, we can pull up the financials, and in the financials we'll be able to see when we wrote checks, what the check numbers were, and if that cleared our bank and we reconciled it, so we know that they cashed it or not. So in this case, these are the checks we wrote, and so this was paid with a credit card, so there's no check number, and the rest of these were with a check. So we're able to give them this exact information. Okay, that was sent on check number this, on this date, and the way I like to do it is just to have the checks written remotely. So I just go into the software, I enter the bill, it pays the bill, it records the check, and the check is mailed automatically, so I don't have to lick a stamp or an envelope or anything like that. The next tab here is tasks, and the way I use this task is when tenants have questions or they have maintenance issues, they can submit a task, and then the task comes to the property manager, and the property manager can route that task to employees or vendors or whoever to follow up on those things. And you can mark them closed, open, pending. You can track when you send tasks to people how long it takes to do them. So hey, if you have different vendors and you want to compare different vendors, maybe one metric of quality or responsivity is how quickly they close their tabs, and so you can check that. This one's only 18 hours, this one's 6 days old. And then you can generate reports on average age of tickets, things like that. The next tab here is communications. One of the things I like about the communications is being able to automate a lot of the messages you need to send to your tenants. For example, maybe you have a tenant and they forgot to pay their rent. Well, you're going to get an email that says, oh, you forgot to pay your rent. You're going to get a late fee on this date. Or, that time comes and they do get a late fee. It'd be awfully nice that they would be notified so that they're aware of it, so that they can do something about it. And when they get that email that says, hey, you're getting a late fee, that's often a trigger to say, oh, there might not be something right. Maybe as a property manager, I made a mistake. Maybe the tenant forgot something. Maybe there's a problem with the bank or the mail. But the best way to find things is to find them early, right away, and having these automated emails allows you to do that. So there are a whole bunch of templates for these different options that you can send to people, but I definitely use the emails for when they can get a receipt when they pay online, they can get notified when they are late, and they get a welcome email to know how to log into the system. And your owners, you can send the owners information about when they are getting paid. So a whole bunch of different templates that are really convenient and give some more information. All right, the next here, we're going to go over to reports. Oh, I'll show you what a resident page looks like before we go there. So I just logged in. I created this fake account for Megan. And so when she logs into the website, she just goes to whatever the custom domain name is. For me, it's uppervalleyapartments.com. She puts in her username and password, and this is her home screen. So in this case, she owes $2. She can make a payment, set up auto pay. She can make a request. If there are requests that she's made previously, it'll show whether they're opened or closed. It'll show a response. So she asked the question, where can I park? I responded and closed the ticket, so she can view that here. If there are announcements just for her or for the whole community, they will show up here. She also has her lease information and payment information. So in this case, she hasn't made any payments, but she could. So here's her history. This will show all of the times that she's been charged and payments that she's made, so this will be a nice ledger down here once you have more information. And it's set up so you can pay with electronic check, and there's no fee for anybody, or you can pay with a credit card and pay the credit card company's fee, which is about, I think it's 2.95% or something like that. So they can make one-time payments, or they can set up auto pay. If they want to make a maintenance request or other question, this is where they can do that. If they and for documents, here in this documents section, we'll have files for everyone in a building, perhaps the lead paint disclosures. We will have the lease and property inspections. One of the things that Buildium does that's really cool is your mobile inspection you will do with your phone, and you can walk around, so for example, here's a move-in checklist, and so I'm just imagining you're walking around and you're saying, oh, there's a damaged window, there's a broken knob on the window by the front door. So you write this in your phone. You're walking around with your brand new tenant who's super excited and not really interested in the move-in checklist, but they're going to be awfully interested in what that looked like when they're moving out. So here at the bottom, you can create a space for them to sign, space for you to sign. It's going to have the pictures, and it's right here for the tenant to see. So it's in their tenant account, and they can access that inspection report. So when they're ready to move out, they already know, oh, there wasn't a hole in the wall here. I was thinking there was, so that may not be something that, I can claim I didn't do. So those are the documents. You can create communities within the resident center. I haven't done it just because I'm a little bit more concerned about privacy, so I haven't been involved in that. So a really nice, convenient, easy way for tenants to manage the bills they have to pay and access their documents. If they have more than one unit, so say maybe they have a storage unit and they have an apartment unit, they're going to click under here and it'll show a separate unit. So they can have multiple, you can have one tenant paying for multiple units. Finally, on reports over here, this pulls up a whole bunch of automated reports that are pretty slick and can, for the most part, will do just about everything you need. Some of the things that I tend to fall back on quite a bit, of course, the balance sheet and the cash flow statement, but really nice here. Who are my current tenants? Give me information on my tenants. Who's delinquent? And what's the rent roll? All things that I can use. The Buildium software also allows renters to get renter's insurance. It has no financial implications on the property manager, but the tenants have the convenience of having rental insurance. And you can also give tenant statements to any tenants just by going here rather than having to go the long way and going down to the property and then the unit and then the tenant and then the statement. You can just pop right over here and there you go. And if you have any vacant units, you can get a table of that. So a whole bunch of really cool reports for the properties. You can track things like, what's your late fee policy, and if you set your late fee policy, you can set it different for each building. You can set it different for each individual resident. You can, however you want to do it, but this is where you're going to set those up. You can track how old the appliances are in each of the buildings, which is kind of nice. And finally, the banking stuff. I have everything set up through Buildium, so I do all of the bank reconciliations through Buildium, and it automatically syncs with the bank accounts, and then the automatic check writing is linked to my bank account, so I can write checks out of the software, and then once I get a statement back from the bank at the end of the month, I can go in here and I can reconcile it so that all of my accounting is done and up to date. So that is a quick rundown of some of the things I like in Buildium. It's something that I think makes it really nice for a small to medium-sized property manager and allows the property manager to spend more time doing the people-related things rather than doing the more nuts and bolts paperwork, bureaucracy types of things. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and check me out on uppervalleyapartments.com. Thanks.